Longzhu screening himself over there, going for the dive as Blank in so much trouble. The flash is coming out from everyone, but that's going to be first blood going to Khan.
What's up, everyone? Zirene here. This week on The Breakdown, we're going to look at Game 4 of the LCK Finals between Longzhu and SK Telecom. Early game team compositions require proactivity and relentless pressure. This was on full display by Longzhu, as Khan's Jace was able to use wave manipulation and coordination with his team to punish Huni and snowball the game. In Champion Select, SKT set up to give Huni counterpick. But when Khan blind picks Jace, there isn't really a meta champion that can go toe-to-toe with his early levels. And with Longzhu's commitment to an early game composition, SKT doubled down on late game beef balls and picked Cho'Gath in an attempt to scale, stack armor, and make Jace irrelevant. But Longzhu have 3 early winning lanes, a more aggressive jungle matchup, and a plan of their own to dominate the top lane. Let's get into it. Because of their strong early matchups, Longzhu invade Blank's topside jungle, allowing Cuz to start SKT's Raptors, their red, and ward, which lets Khan play without fear of an early gank. This is important because Khan's priority is to deny Huni as much EXP and gold as possible, and that requires him to play further up, where he'd be pretty easy to gank. With this safety and his priorities in mind, Khan begins to punish the matchup. Jace wants to be aggressive. He has a range advantage in this matchup versus Cho'Gath, and the most effective way to exploit this matchup is to zone the Cho'Gath from the minion wave. Once Khan begins zoning Huni, it's almost impossible for Huni to re-establish control of the lane. On the first wave, Huni attempts to contest it by using Rupture, but eats continuous auto attacks from Khan, and as the second wave rolls in, Khan dips into the brush to drop minion aggro, and then once again places himself between Huni and Huni's caster minions. Since Khan's zoning has already denied Huni some experience, Huni's now dealing with a level advantage and more minions pushing toward him that would assist in Khan's trade. So Huni is forced to back off and let Khan dictate the lane. This results in a 2-level advantage for Khan at 3 minutes. The minion wave will hit Huni's turret and he'll catch back up, but Huni is forced to spend a vast amount of his mana pool just to last hit. As the wave is cleared, Khan again sets up a slow push. Only this time, he's got a dive in his sights. As Cuz is moving to the top side of the map, he finds Blank, who's there to protect Huni. Khan's slow push here means that if Longzhu get a kill on Huni, or at least shove him off the turret, he'll be denied a large amount of golden experience. But it also means that there are more minions to tank the turret aggro and allow Longzhu a decent amount of time to collapse, calculate, and approach this dive methodically. Because of the large wave, they now have ample time for BDD to roam up, Cuz to position, and for Khan to poke. Longzhu's wave hits the turret at 4 minutes and 39 seconds, but the dive doesn't commence until 10 seconds later. This dive is made easy for Longzhu because of Khan's work earlier. Huni is only able to contribute a Feral Scream during the dive because of his low mana, and the Longzhu trio walk away with both Blank and Huni's flashes and first blood for Khan. This is where it starts getting really messy for SKT. With Khan receiving first blood and Huni's flash now down, the dagger is in and Longzhu are ready to twist it. Khan TPs onto the front melee minion to build a slow push as Huni TPs to his turret. Because Khan is ahead and arrived at the minion wave first, Huni is unable to contest. Khan gets to slowly last hit minions, zone, and control when the wave hits the turret. At first, it looks like Khan is creating a slow push by keeping the caster minion count slightly higher on his side of the wave, but what he's really doing is not tipping off Huni that another dive is coming his way. This keeps Huni around, and Khan doesn't clear out the minion wave and fast push until the team is well within SKT's jungle. Khan has perfectly set up and timed this wave to execute Longzhu's game plan, but this isn't just about Khan. Let's take a look at how Cuz and BDD are able to keep applying this pressure. After the top lane dive, Cuz returned to base, and even though his whole bottom side jungle and Infernal Drake are up, he paths straight back to top lane for another gank. The number one priority for Longzhu is to keep Huni down, and Cuz knows that you don't accomplish this by farming your jungle. If Cuz were to spend a minute on the bottom side of the map, Huni would pick up this enormous wave under turret and the Longzhu game plan would be dead. Likewise, BDD is also committed to the plan. After the dive top, Faker backed and purchased the Sheen, but BDD, on the other hand, returned to mid lane, shoved 2 waves for level 6, and now joins Cuz to once again dive Huni. No backs and no breaks to spend his 1600 gold. As Khan pushes the stacked wave into turret, Huni realizes he's about to be dove and begins backing off. But because Khan didn't give away that his team was diving until they were already in position, Huni still dies despite backing up. With no teleport to return top, Huni sits at just 22 CS, and he loses 16 CS to the turret because of the coordinated dive. Khan also leaves the turret alive at 102 HP. The wave is about to push back towards him, and he could potentially set up a freeze that would give him a large CS advantage. Or he could force Huni to try and break the freeze, which would require him to go past the halfway point of the lane and make for an easy kill. Huni returns to lane and pushes the wave out, but he doesn't push it all the way to the turret. Huni is instead prioritizing vision to assist in his team's incoming collapse, as Faker shoved out mid and Blank is on his way. But as SKT are setting up a play, Longzhu are already executing their own. Khan blast cones over the wall, and once again, Cuz is already on the top side. It's important to note that after the last dive, Cuz went to his wolf camp and then immediately went back top. SKT are not expecting Longzhu to be this committed to shutting down top lane, and they end up just seconds late to the game. With a fantastic display of his combos on Jace, Khan gets another kill onto Huni and shoves the wave into the turret to deny more minions. Huni is now relegated to go mid and look for whatever CS he can. This leaves Khan top to pick up first turret, and now Longzhu can completely snowball the game. If we look at the CS numbers, Khan's CS is lower than his other lanes. Despite having a matchup where he could easily focus on CSing, Khan instead sacrificed farm to harass, deny, and set up dives. But irrespective of his CS comparative to the rest of the map, at 9 minutes into the game, he has twice the CS of Huni, is 3 levels up, and has twice his total gold. This large advantage came from Longzhu's teamwork, but having a lane advantage only gets you so far, and Khan's focus now isn't to continue winning lane, but winning the game. With his completed Youmuu's Ghostblade, Khan moves to open up the map. He runs mid and lands poke onto Faker, which allows BDD to roam bottom, resulting in Longzhu picking up the second turret of the game, Infernal Drake, and advantages across all lanes that SKT could not overcome. Looking back, Longzhu were hyper-focused on punishing SKT's last pick. Longzhu ganked top 3 times in the first 7.5 minutes, and everyone involved sacrificed to make it happen. Khan sacrificed CS to look for poke, BDD sacrificed his back timer in his one-on-one matchup, and Cuz gave up his bottom side jungle, doing only a single camp there in the first 9 minutes. Khan's wave manipulation was fantastic, and when coordinated with his team's collapses, created situations where Huni lost the maximum every time they went for a kill. Because of this, Longzhu would win in just 25 minutes, the fastest game of the LCK playoffs. Khan would earn himself a much-deserved MVP award, and with their victory over the 3-time world champions, Longzhu are now crowned the king of the LCK and have the #1 seed from Korea coming into Worlds. Hey everyone, Zirene here. If you see a play that you think deserves a breakdown, tweet at me at LOLZirene and use the hashtag #TheBreakdown.